A lot of banter has been going on about increasing minimum wage, and a lot of my students are all for it. I'd like your input on how that would affect an entrepreneur and your business.
Yeah, so I think this is an interesting discussion. I think the raise of the minimum wage is a double-edged sword. For the hospitality industry as a whole, I think it probably would negatively affect small mom and pop like restaurants and things like that. We work on a lot of volunteers, so I don't know that we would see a huge impact on it right off the bat. But on a normal restaurant, I think it is going to change the way restaurants work as a whole. Restaurants will have to start working a little bit more like they do in Europe, where employees don't get tipped and all that kind of stuff. And if employees realize that, at least in most of the restaurants I've dealt with in the past, you make more money in tips than what they're proposing to raise the minimum wage up to anyway. So that's why I say it's a double-edged sword. Is, a minimum wage increase sounds good, but at the same time, I think overall what employees don't realize is that it's probably a reduction in their net take home, at least in the hospitality industry. And it's going to force restaurants to raise prices, which I think is also a double-edged sword to the minimum wage increase as far as restaurants go, because restaurants are probably a large part of it's a large industry where people make under a proposed wage increase, and there's not a whole lot of profit margin in a restaurant. It's between 5 and 7% profit margin for your average mom and pop, according to National Restaurant Association. So when you're increasing wage, when you increase the labor by 50%, that's really hard to do without seeing a 20 to 30% price increase on the menu. So I think that is where restaurants will have to adjust, because I see it happening. So I just think that there's going to be an adjustment in the labor force. You're seeing it already in Seattle and stuff like that. But I think it's a double-edged sword. Personally, I think it's just the government finding a way to pass on social services to businesses, which, I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it's just one way or another. If you raise the minimum wage, then you're going to not get as much, food stamps or whatever, because you're starting making more. It's one of the reasons why we do what we do, because our particular target market is people who make too much money to qualify for government assistance. That's sort of what we're built for. So I just see our restaurant becoming more popular in sort of that standpoint. So, but as far as our operations here, I don't think that'll have a huge effect on us. But I know that it'll have a pretty large effect on my peers in the restaurant industry. But we're 80% volunteers, so we have a little bit of play as far as labor costs. But yeah, we're a little unique as a nonprofit because of that.